For a farmer, there is no greater pleasure than the sight of a ripe crop. This sight is in fact the origin of the common idiom, you reap what you sow. However, the farmers of Nagampaha in Anuradhapura are now faced with a crisis that has caused them to lose faith in the idea that hard work pays off. Look at this. By 7 or 8, they had destroyed or eaten all of this. We have no way of staying here. They have come here and destroyed everything. Wild elephants are responsible for the destruction of these chainas and crops. Numerous incidents reported over the recent past bear testament to the fact that the wild elephant threat in many areas of the island has been aggravated. As of recently, innumerable harm has been caused to the Nagampaha region by wild elephants.
The 1 acre chain has been completely destroyed. We have no other cultivations. Since we have nothing left to do, we are harvesting kurakan. The elephants have trampled and leveled this. What are we to do?
Farmers from villages in the Nagampaha division, including Ipulwahara, Wambatuwava, Maneruwa, Siambalaiva and Kumbukwava, are facing the same crisis. Farmers say the wild elephants from the Kahalla Pallakale reserve encroach on their lands at night. Crop destruction is not the only threat faced by these farmers who work tirelessly to ensure their livelihoods. We have no means of doing anything else. We are sleep deprived. We try to sleep during the day. Now we have to live by working as hired laborers. All of our cultivations are destroyed by wild elephants. Although an electric fence was erected in the village of Siambalaiva as a solution to the problem, this fence does not serve its purpose. Although they say they will take it, they do not come here. They keep saying they will come tomorrow. The farmers here are severely inconvenienced by these elephants. Wild elephants pose a threat not only to ripe crops in the fields, but also to harvested crops. As a result, this harvest of corn and kurakan is placed in the field and covered at night. The villagers say that while the elephants may not understand the harm that is being caused by them, even the competent authorities tasked with resolving the issue are turning a deaf ear to it.
News First highlights the loss of life caused due to the failure of authorities to maintain crocodile enclosures. They say that funds will be allocated to construct piers and construction work will commence tomorrow and so on. They say this all the time, but it never materializes. They take the boats and leave. News First revelation inspires action. Steps taken to renovate the banks of the Nilwala river, make it a safer place and reconstruct the crocodile enclosures. Media highlights many issues that have cropped up owing to the crocodile menace. We will provide solutions to these issues. Public representatives coming forward to pay attention to the needs of the public is indeed commendable. News First will always be on the lookout for the needs of the masses.
A protest march and a rally organized by the anti-imperialist people's movement was held today.
The protest march commenced from the Lake House roundabout in Colombo. The convener of the movement, K.D. Lalkant, and others participated in this protest march. The other protest march commenced from the Punchiborala junction under the auspices of the co-convener of the anti-imperialist people's movement, Venerable Damara Amilatera. The rally commenced following the convergence of both processions at Hyde Park.
විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ආචාර්යවරු වෙනම සටනක්. රාජ්‍ය සේවකයෝ වෙනම සටනක්.
The university teachers have their own battle. The government servants have another battle. Private sector employees are engaging in another battle, while the people in the estate sector are also involved in another struggle. How can we find answers to these issues? Is there an opposition? Who will provide leadership to it? The people of this country are facing many issues. They are attempting to stage a referendum in the north and east and bring out an idea that they want to separate. This is what they are trying to achieve through the UN.
අපි වෙන් වෙන්න කැමති කියන ජනමතය ගන්න. රට හසුරුවනවා නම් කවර පාලකෙක් වුවත් ඔහු ජනයාත් එක්ක ජනතාවගේ බලයත් එක්ක ජනබලය කෙරෙහි පමණක් විශ්වාසය තබා වෙන කිසිදු බලයක් කෙරෙහි විශ්වාසය නොතබා.
The leader of any country should be with the people. He should place his trust on the people's power. He should not place his trust in any other power when governing. The rule of Raja Singha is an example of this. Due to the actions which violate human rights and due to actions which are undemocratic, there are people who are affected. The foreigners will try to exploit this. We will also need to realize that the imperialists are waiting for a chance to come back. We need to be aware of both of this in order to fight.
A cabinet minister and a deputy minister assumed duties in their new capacities today.
Minister Jayaratna Herath assumed duties in his new capacity as the Minister of Botanical Gardens and Public Recreation today. After assuming duties, the minister shared these views with News First. We hope to expand the Pinnaval Elephant Orphanage by another 50 acres. We are also in the process of identifying 300 acres of land from the north for a botanical garden. Plans are afoot to construct a zoo and a botanical garden in Hambantota. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Economic Development S.M. Chandrasena assumed duties in his new capacity today. This is a ministry where we can do a lot of work because the subject minister is Basil Rajapaksa. He is the brainchild of many projects in the government. I have been vested with the responsibility of working alongside this individual. Although we have been in politics for nearly 22 years, there are things I can learn from Basil Rajapaksa.
The official website of the election monitoring organization People's Action for Free and Fair Elections, or PAFREL, was launched today.
The launch was attended by political representatives, members of foreign missions and members of civil society.
I would like to, therefore, on behalf of the government, extend our full support as well as our best wishes to PAFREL. We have had times of agreement, we have had times of disagreement. That is normal in a democracy. Debate goes on, we move forward. Democratic movements take different forms. Today governments are becoming weaker when information technology has taken over the world. We are all subject to perhaps changes to come.
We sought the views of PAFREL, the civil organizations, and in that context, the PAFREL representatives helped us a lot in setting up the initial program for drawing up the 17th Amendment. That was a job done by the opposition, and very happy that in 2001 the 17th Amendment was passed. But with the 18th Amendment the system has changed, because we remember at that time when we proposed the Constitutional Council, we said it should be chaired by the Speaker, the Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, and 5 eminent men. And when we drew up the first 17th Amendment, although there was 5 people who selected represented the sectoral interests, one to represent Jaffna Tamil, one to represent Muslims, one to represent Indian Tamils, one to represent small parties, another one to represent the President. But at the end of the day, we were able to get 5 eminent men, although despite the fact that they had sectoral interests, they were able to ensure in the selection of Independent Commission, the Police Commission, Public Service Commission, then the Judicial Service Commission, very eminent people appointed. But
in more local news, the country director of the International Labour Organization, Donglin Lee, says that human trafficking generates an annual profit of $32 billion. He made this statement during a function held in Colombo today.
A special function was held in Colombo today to launch a resource guide for reporting on human trafficking and forced labour. The book was launched by the Sri Lanka Press Institute together with the International Labour Organization. A number of distinguished guests graced the occasion.
There are at least 2.4 million victims of trafficking at any given point in time. Yet, there are only a few thousand convictions of trafficking offenders every year. Most of the victims are not identified and consequently never receive justice for the damage inflicted upon them. Trafficking remains a low-risk criminal enterprise with high returns. The ILO estimates that annual profits generated from trafficking in human beings are as high as $32 billion.
Minister of Health Maithripala Sirisena says increased public enthusiasm is expected during the Mosquito Eradication Week. The minister made this statement at the main event held today to mark the beginning of the National Mosquito Eradication Week.
Health officials including Minister Maithripala Sirisena were present at the event held to mark the commencement of the National Mosquito Eradication Week at the Sri Ratnapala Mahavidyalaya in Telangapatha, Vattala today. When considering the number of dengue patients and deaths over the past several years, although the number of dengue patients has increased, we have been able to minimize the number of deaths. The main reason for this is the strengthening of our treatment unit. Mosquito eradication weeks are proclaimed from time to time in order to focus public attention on the issue. The Minister of Health visited several homes in the area and looked into the steps taken to prevent dengue. Meanwhile, the dengue prevention program in the Vavuniya district commenced at the premises of the Vavuniya hospital today. The unveiling of the Kalthura district dengue prevention pledge took place today, parallel to the National Mosquito Eradication Week under the auspices of the Western Province Health Minister Jagat Angage. A public awareness campaign was held following the unveiling. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Public Health Inspectors Union decided to refrain from reporting for work during the Mosquito Eradication Week. The Union Secretary Senarath Bandara said that this measure was taken due to the lack of response to the trade union action launched by the union on the basis of several demands. Bandara said that a discussion held yesterday regarding their demands ended without a resolution. Since the Honourable Health Minister was attending, we participated in this event as a mark of respect on the instructions of the Sri Lanka Public Health Inspectors Union. I must highlight that we will return to trade union action after today. Meanwhile, the Minister of Health said that the ministry has decided to expeditiously resolve all of the demands of the public health inspectors. I must clearly state that with regard to all of these problems as the Minister of Health, I am on the side of the public health inspectors. As public health inspectors, all of your demands are reasonable and justifiable. As a government, the Minister of Health has recommended that we meet all these demands.